Hello everyone and welcome to the Infinity and Beyond Webcast episode number 14. On this episode we're going to be discussing the Disney Infinity 2.0 Disney Inside launch. We're also going to be looking at some special information from Abe at a conference call that he attended, and also some other Disney Infinity news. So let's kick things off. Hi everyone, it's Roger here from Infinity and Beyond, presented by Vinimation Kingdom, with my co-host Abe over in sunny California.
Actually, it was rainy.
It was rainy. Well, it's raining here in England as well, so it's hardly surprising. But there we go.
It only happens once a year here.
Such a shame for you guys. Okay, this week it's episode 14, and we have got lots of news coming out this week, including some bit of information on Sorcerer Mickey. We've also got Hulk being released last week, and more importantly, we've got all the Disney Infinity stuff coming out this week for the Disney side. So that's going to be the main aim of this week. So let's kick off with some of the news. Okay, so this week we've got all the Disney Infinity 2.0 Disney side coming out, but before we jump into all of that, earlier this week we found out some information on the 5 figures that are going to be released on sort of January the 13th, 2015, which are going to be, and I'm going to bring out some images here. So we have the Ronan figure, so you can see here who looks, do you like the look of that Ronan character?
Yeah, I like it. It's I don't know. It looks like what we saw in the playset, and it looks kind of similar to the movie. So,
yeah, he's got that big sort of hammer and stuff. I must admit, I think it, because I only really know him from the movie. He's still kind of not quite at that same level that Loki and Green Goblin are at with me yet.
I got you.
Yeah. Okay, so we've also got Loki as well, who looks really cool.
Yeah, I love Loki. He's my favorite.
And then we have the Yondu, who can also be used in the Guardians playset. And then we have the Green Goblin.
I'm kind of excited to play with him too, especially with the glider and everything.
Yeah, I think the glider will be cool. I think what's interesting for me now is because he's from the Ultimate Universe, I'm more used to the Green Goblin from sort of the normal universe, where he's sort of Norman Osborn and not a sort of a monster kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bit odd. And then we have the Falcon. Now, what was interesting with that information, it's all going to be out on, according to DisneyStore.com, they've got them all down for January 13th, but they've also got some of the dates mixed up. On one page, it says one date, and then on the other date it says shipping in March. So, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
Yeah.
That's kind of odd, yeah, because I thought some of the villains were going to be March, and then one of them was going to be January. It was kind of weird. I don't know.
Personally, I'd rather they split them up rather than releasing 5 at once. I'd rather they did like 2 or 3 and then release. If they release them in January, they then release Jasmine in February, and obviously we've still got those Jasmine and those 2 other Disney unannounced figures. So we've still got a few more figures to go. I personally would like a little bit more spreading out.
I'm with you there. I mean, I think it would have been awesome if they just did, like, since we knew about the villains first, maybe put all 3 of the villains January, and then you have Jasmine February, and then the other 2 guys in March.
Yeah,
so just makes, or even further down. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they really want to go too much beyond Easter, because then they're getting into territory of promoting the new
3.0.
game. So I think from it having gone from this year, I think we can sort of see that sort of Easter is there, sort of like with Agent P, where they leave it a little bit, and then they've got to kind of have a cut-off point.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's cool. It's gonna be good to have that. It'll be good to have another wave of figures, or actually a couple of waves of figures next year, sort of to get everyone sort of back into the game, because there'll obviously be some people that will have dipped out by the time sort of after the holiday period and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there.
Also, this week we saw the Hulk got released pretty much everywhere last week. He's now pretty available, and he's awesome. So that's the main thing with the Hulk. He is now out. He's
I'm kind of scared for the Hulk smash
yeah, you've been knocked
mini
off.
game.
Yeah,
Again?
yeah.
I'm done. I'm retired.
I think that was that. Yeah, that little bit of a chance to come through. Also, we just saw this. I just saw this literally just before we came on air. Just got an image of the Sorcerer Mickey crystal version for the packaging for that on there. It's in the 2.0 packaging. We can also see there clearly he's still in his stance, and that's going to be out December the 5th in pretty much in the US. So the dates can change around internationally. But it's interesting to see that they've popped him on with a 2.0 edition in the top and the toy box and changed the whole look of the packaging. But he is going to be compatible with the first game, so if you haven't upgraded yet, you can still use him.
Yeah, it makes sense though. I mean, especially to put the 2.0 because he is coming out during the 2.0 wave. So
yeah, I mean, I think to be honest, I would have if any new Disney, if they're going to repackaging any of the old figures, it makes sense to whack the new logo on it. But it's a bit of an odd release, really. I think it's the last 1.0 character. It should have been out before. I think they just pushed it back for this, and it'll probably be the last sort of crystal figure that we get. And it's
at
also,
least
yeah,
at least in a while.
yeah, and also I think it's not going to be exclusive to Toys R Us this year. They've dumped away with all that exclusive stuff, and it's just going to be available everywhere.
Yeah, it's better. I mean, not everybody has a Toys R Us nearby, so.
Yeah, but also, I mean, from last year's point of view, that Toys R Us, for me over here, it seemed like a huge just mess of when it was being released. Nothing was being released on time. Things were being sold out.
Yeah, the schedules weren't consistent. They were a little off, but I mean, yeah, it's better. Everybody should have an equal chance. So.
Well, I mean, here in the UK, when we had all those crystal figures, they were all released in different stores. They weren't even just different retailers all had the exclusive, and nobody really promoted it. So it was just literally, Lone Ranger's out at game this year, or suddenly Argos have got buzz. There was no kind of advertising really done properly, and it was just random of who had what.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, I just had one store.
No. Right. Okay, so Abe, this week you were on a conference call with the guys at Disney Infinity 2.0. So if you'd like to fill us in on what they said at the conference call.
Yeah, basically it was just a conference call, let us know about everything that's going to happen on release day, November 4th, here in the States. And it was JV, actually, who was on the call. And he was joined by a few of his PR people, but they were, silent, not really talking. But they gave us basically details that we already knew regarding the release, and they were just specific, giving us retail information. And then there was times for Q&A, and we got a few little bits of info that were kind of cool, pretty interesting, and some that were a little misconstrued, and a lot of people were confused, seeing a bunch of updates for things. But I have my notes here. I can actually go through it real quick, since there is an article, if you haven't seen it, on our website, but I'll go ahead and give you the information here. But basically, so they stated, obviously, November 4th, the Disney Originals Toy Box Starter Pack will be released at a retail price of $59.99 USD. So I don't know what that translates to in pounds, but what is
it's the pricing in the stores is all over the place on this.
Okay, so I'll just say USD.
Yeah.
So basically, he pinpointed the Toy Box Starter Pack comes with the Infinity 2.0 game disc, which is the same as the game disc inside the Marvel's superheroes.
Yes.
So just in case people are still confused, but it's the same game disc. And it also comes with the Disney Infinity base that is USB connecting to your game system. Also inside you'll have the two Toy Box game discs. One is themed to Lilo, and it's a tower defense game, and it's called Stitch's Tropical Rescue. And then there's also a Brave one that is a dungeon crawler, and that one's titled Brave Forest Siege. So those two will be coming in with that starter pack.
And also, I'll just pop it in. If you aren't getting the starter pack, they are going to be out as a twin pack in January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also was shared. I'll touch into that in a second here. Also included, obviously, to go along with the theme of both of those two Toy Box Game Disc are the figures, Merida and Stitch. So that makes sense there.
Yeah.
And there was one more thing here. Oh yeah, and also the actual code and trading card that you can use on the PC version. So those are the items that are included inside the starter pack. No details if there was a poster included as well. I'm assuming there will be, but I'm not 100% sure though.
No.
Okay, so they also mentioned that also available in single pack retail for $13.99 USD will also be obviously Merida and Stitch in single packs. And that coincides with what you said with the digital download. Tinkerbell, Donald Duck, Aladdin, Hero, Baymax, and Maleficent. Now, Hero and Baymax is delayed, I believe, in the UK. However, Roger may have gotten it. Who knows? Crossing your fingers for you.
Yeah, basically, because the movie's not out in Europe until next year, it's been delayed in most retailers. However, the retailer Simply Games have actually got it up and says in stock. So I've placed an order. I'll be updating on the Facebook group if it comes. If not, I'll be making an order through some US folk such as Abe here to pick one up for me. But yeah, it looks like it might be worth checking retailers in Europe to see if it is in stock, because it might be it's just slipped out. But anyway, back to Abe.
Also being released in a single pack will be Thor from the Avengers, the Marvel Superhero Starter Pack, coinciding with the digital download. And because of that as well, you will also have the Avengers playset being sold separately at what was the estimated retail price, $34.99 USD. And that, again, because of the digital download, people have the option to play the Avengers playset as well. And the last bit of information as far as what they revealed that was already known is also your Disney Originals Power Discs, and those will be, that wave of 40 will be released in the pack sale at $4.99 USD, although some retailers out here mark it up $1 from time to time. But other little bits of information that he gave us was obviously the digital download. Now the digital download is going to be available for $29.99 USD. However, if you purchase it at launch, it'll actually be $10 cheaper, so it'll be $19.99. And the first 10,000 people who do download it will actually have a mail-in offer to receive the two Toy Box Game Discs for free. And that's, again, it's a mail-in offer, nothing like digital or anything where you have to go and do something electronic.
Yeah.
But that's for the first 10,000.
Is that for the Disney figures or for the Disney Toy Box games or for the Avengers ones?
I believe the Toy Box download is for the Disney side.
Cool.
However, it wasn't specific.
No.
So it is possible that it could be your choice.
Yeah.
However, I'm not 100% sure, so do not quote me on that.
No, it's a great jump on point. If you aren't wanting to pick up a starter pack and you maybe only just want to use your own figures, the digital option is going to be really good for people to use. Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, just to run through it quickly one more time for those watching, it was $29.99. However, at launch it will be $19.99, so it's a $10 discount. Plus, if you're one of the first 10,000, you can get the two Toy Box discs for free.
Yeah.
And piggyback off of that, those two the two Toy Box game discs for the Disney Original side and also for the Marvel side will be released next year in January. No specific date yet.
No.
But they will be released in 2 packs. Obviously a Disney Originals pack and a Marvel Superheroes pack. And they will be retailing at $19.99 USD. So look for that in January if you didn't get your free discs or if you did the digital and you want to play them. So that's that information. Other bits of information is for those who are going to get that PS TV or who have the PlayStation Vita. That version will be releasing in spring of 2015.
Yeah.
And for those of you who do use that, there will be something special being released with the release of the Vita version. So don't know the specifics. However, he did say something. I don't know if I took down my notes correctly, but he did say something that it would be something special for those who did not pick up both of the starter packs.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm also suspecting that it might be a bit like the collector's edition, where they've got a deal with Sony at the minute, so it might be a timed exclusive. I don't think they're going to make anything exclusive long term. It might just be a time. That's what my guess is anyway.
Correct. Also, the iOS version will be obviously catered to the toy box as it was before. That will be released a couple of weeks after, no specific date, but a couple of weeks after the November 4th launch of the Disney Originals toy box starter pack.
Well, I just brought an iPad Mini 2 this week, and I must admit one of the major reasons I picked it up was because I wanted to be able to take the toy box away with me and work on stuff, but also Apple have just dropped the price on it all because the new ones come out. But yeah, one of the main reasons I picked an iPad up was to play the toy box version. So once that's out, I will be sort of trying that out and sort of sharing my thoughts on that. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Now, I'm not familiar, unfortunately, with the iPad since I have a different tablet. But I was going to say, he said it was optimized with Metal. I don't know if that means it's a specific iOS name for it, or
I don't know.
Software.
I'm literally I'm only 2 days into my iPad at the minute and just kind of going.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
So, somebody of you guys who are familiar, he said optimized with Metal. I think he said. Well, anyways. Speaking of which, me who does not have an iPad, he did mention that an Android version is in the mix. It's in the works right now, but nothing yet. So
they're just trying to get this game out onto every platform, and Android is, in all honesty, a much larger base than Apple, so it makes sense for them to do it.
Yeah, it's wider.
Yeah.
Okay, and now for some questions were being asked, and there was other little pieces of info released. So let me go ahead and get into that. Let me just double check the notes that I didn't miss anything here.
Was it that repaint figure?
Yeah, I'll get to that. I'm saving that for the end. Okay, so the two unannounced figures that some people have seen leaks for, and we're not going to mention anything here, but those two unannounced figures that we don't know about yet are supposed to be coming out early next year.
Yeah.
We don't know what early next year means. We don't know what the time frame is. We don't know if this is what they're talking about with the PS Vita exclusive. We don't know. However, it is early next year, so don't expect anything being released or announced anytime soon.
No.
So just keep that in mind.
It's cool. To be honest, I'm really hoping that they can keep a lid on it as well as possible until they're ready, because if they manage to pull this off properly, we'll probably see a lot more of this in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there 100%. Now, some information we got, and that was based off of Q&A with all the media outlets. I'll start off with the question that I asked. I asked about the accessories. When the Marvel Superheroes was released, all the accessories were themed to the Marvel Superheroes.
Yeah.
So I asked, will we be having any accessories themed to the new Disney original figures? And JV did say that they have been in negotiations with a license agreement with their partner, their third party per se. And it is in the works. However, it's not going to be out at launch. So if you guys are looking and you can't find them, don't ask your retailer because it's not out yet.
It's a bit of a missed opportunity, that, isn't it? If it's not out.
I agree, but honestly, I don't think they were anticipating people purchasing the Marvel ones, and I guess that just didn't work out in their plans. I don't know. I have no explanation.
No, it's a bit of an odd one. I mean, but in the same way, if they've got the red and the blue capsules out, and it would have made sense to have had a book for the Disney side, because you got the Marvel one, but you haven't got one for the Disney side at all. Obviously, like I said, the capsules are the same, so yeah, they could slap sort of Donald Duck on it, but generally that's not a huge problem.
To be honest with you, Roger, and I think I'm going off on a tangent here, but I honestly think it has to do with PDP.
Yeah.
Because there was quite a few missed opportunities with the last, wave 3 of the disc and one. What is it called? 1.0 or whatever. But I don't know. I'm just maybe thinking maybe they just didn't negotiate in time. In fact, I kind of feel the same way for what about my 1.0 disc? Because I do like the disc folio better than I did like the folder. So like, what if I wanted some for my previous?
I think in general, I think it would have been. I think trying to launch the album, the big binder, and the capsules was probably maybe by having too many options, it maybe sort of made it worse for them.
Well, I will be customizing my own, so.
Yeah, I just use the capsules. So that's the way I do it. But
I gotcha.
Okay, back to you.
Okay, so let's move on from that one. We were also asked, or somebody asked, that if there will be any special, and I've actually mentioned this before in a different webcast with you, but somebody asked if there will be any special missions catered to any of the characters being released, including the Marvel side. And JV said that no, there won't be. However, there are some catered toy boxes being created by the Toy Box team. And one that he did throw out was kind of cool. He said, coinciding with the with Jasmine's release, they're actually currently working on a toy box that is themed to the old Aladdin and Jasmine game from the Genesis. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna make you feel nostalgic there.
I think I must admit, something I've sort of started noticing a lot more with this thing about using sort of toy boxes as almost like a get out of basically for the these guys that are the toy box team. They seem to have got a hell of a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. You've got the making toy boxes. You've got like I've seen Jose making some tutorial videos. I saw Papa Echo on Toy Box TV this week. He's been flying around different conferences and stuff. Those guys have really kind of got they're kind of the face of the team. So I hope it's not just those five creating all the toy boxes, and there's some other guys around the back sort of doing some work as well, because they look like they've definitely got some work on their hands.
Yeah, they're definitely the voice of the toy box. You know what I mean?
They're definitely represent.
There's a reason why they were hired.
Yeah, they definitely got a lot of things. I do.
That was actually it was another. Yes, they are.
Yeah, it's one of those things I think as well that they really, I think they probably should maybe have, if they're gonna go down this idea of bringing out toy boxes for new figures without bringing out like a playset or a toy box game disc. I think they're gonna need to make it a little bit easier to find in. Other than just constantly having it in the developer's pit, because the following week it's lost and no one's going to be able to find it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the patch will alleviate all that for everybody.
You almost need their own little tab that's literally just developers, toy boxes or toy box team, so they're all together in one place, so you can find them going forward. Because in like 6 months' time, if you pick up the Aladdin figure, you're never going to find that toy box.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I'm sure they'll usually in the loading screen when they give you those little messages, I'm sure they'll either give you a direction to where to go to find it, maybe. Let's see. Another media fan site asked. They actually said that they sent a picture of concept art that they drew of a couple of figures from the Once Upon a Time TV show.
Okay.
And they asked JV if he saw it and what he thought, and he actually was saying that, and this was kind of cool. Before I even share this, I suggest do not bombard his Twitter page with stuff like this, but definitely go ahead and submit to like the Disney Infinity Twitter. Yeah. Because that one can take it. But I was going to say is, he did mention that anybody who does send any like fan art or suggestions or whatnot, they actually have people looking through it, and even he does this. If he sees something he likes, he'll take it to work and share it with the team, and they actually consider this stuff, and they take it very serious. So just like last year when they polled everybody, what's the figures you really want? I mean, they really took that into consideration, and in fact, they gave us a lot of figures that are about to come out in November 4th. Because of all the polls that were given out and asked people.
It makes sense to kind of you basically you're doing your market research. If you've asked everyone what figures do you want, and 50-60% of them come back with some obscure character that they never thought about, because that, it's like, I think Stitch was a character that they didn't think was gonna, I don't think it was high on their radar, but people kept asking for it, and I think it's from Disney's point of view, they're maybe looking more at what's coming out now rather than what maybe came out 20 plus years ago as the most I think Stitch was one of the most popular ones requested.
Yeah, if I remember hearing JV, he said Stitch, Aladdin and Jasmine, and there was one more. Tinkerbell, which were like one of the top ones on the list, and obviously Darkwing Duck was one of them too. But we got some power discs, so still, even whatever you suggest, you can still get them in forms of power disc items in the game.
There'll be stuff coming out eventually. They've got so many characters to make money off of. They're not going to be running out of ideas for probably till edition 17 or something. They'll start getting some obscure.
Yeah, exactly. So if any of you guys have any ideas, really draw them up, write them down or draw it up and then just attach it to the Disney Infinity Twitter page, and they'll take a look at it. I'm still asking for that Herbie vehicle. So
yeah, and Figment.
That would be awesome.
I want Figment.
Yeah, and Figment. Everybody would love Figment. Okay, moving on. Let's see. I want to make sure I talk about everything else before I talk about the other one. All right, yeah. So it leads us to that last bit that Roger hinted at. There was a little bit of confusion on other pages recently because there was something said on the conference call. So somebody heard a new variant figure. Variant figure meaning an existing figure that we have, including the 2.0 figures that are being released, and there would be a variant painted over figure being released.
Yeah.
However, that's not 100% accurate because there was two bits of information shared. One of them was there was two questions actually, and then somebody put them together and gave us that whole ordeal. But anyways, yes, there will definitely be one variant in 2.0. That variant figure, Roger and I have been talking about it today, and it's Crystal Mickey.
Yeah.
That's the only variant that will be released, unless they do decide to do one and then, discredits me completely. But I'm 100% sure. I'm 100% sure that was said. And the other question that was confused was somebody was talking about, will there ever be any variant figures released with a new paint scheme? Because they said that the power disc, the costume change discs were very popular.
Yeah.
And everybody likes them. Well, and JV went into a little detail and mentioned that before they started working on 2.0 with Marvel is actually the ones that came up with the idea for the costume change discs.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
And so it opened up a huge window of opportunity there. And what JV did mention out of the blue, because somebody asked that, is that there will be another costume being released for an existing figure that we have, but it's not going to be in power disc form. Meaning it's going to be, and he said it's going to be available via IPG.
Yeah.
IPG stands for in-game. IGP. I don't know why I said IPG. Yeah. IGP, which means in-game purchase.
Yeah.
So it'll be available. We don't know if it's.
Is it that Bimax grey version for the PS for the PC that they were talking about?
Right. However, there was something that he said that again also made it confusing and making people think that it's a figure. He said available at retail, and when he said that, we don't know if he was referring to the figure that is already existing, is already available at retail, or that actual costume change that you don't need a power disc for will be available digitally, and you have to buy it, or I don't know if it's with Sparks. So that's still a little confusing.
Yeah, it sounds a bit kind of all over the place of what they're trying to do. I mean, if you're going to go down PC versions, it makes more sense. They want to sell those little discs. That's what's going to sell on it. So that does sound a little bit sort of all over the place of what that was.
Right, and then obviously, just to finish it off, he did say it's going to be released during the 2.0 life cycle, which means obviously sometime between the end of the last release of the figure before they start talking about 3.0. But I mean, everybody can start speculation and think of ideas. I honestly am thinking, and this is just my speculation, that it could possibly be something that you can use in game to turn Sorcerer Mickey into regular Mickey, or it could be turning Baymax into his non-armored form. But that's just all
Yeah,
ideas
I
that I
mean,
have in my head.
there's been like other ideas like Maleficent being their classic look, but I think
Yeah.
they're just going to leave that for a power disc for a future thing. And it's not, and not being funny, but it's like a costume change for Mickey Mouse like that.
Yeah.
I would have just thought they'd just do another figure. If they're going to do a classic Mickey, they can sell pocket loads of that one. You know.
Well, that's exactly I'm in agreement with you, because if there's one figure that I want variants of all the time is Mickey. You can keep giving me variants galore of Mickey and I can buy them. You know.
Well, I
but,
mean,
you know,
obviously with Vinylmation we get lots of
yeah.
Mickeys. So there's a limit to, I know you've probably got like 30, 40 of them. I don't want to see that for Infinity, but if they did a classic Mickey
Not
Mouse,
like 3 or 4.
it makes sense. Yeah, do I want like Donald Duck in 5 or 6 different outfits? No, but give us a lot of power discs. They can keep churning out that, and that will keep making people buy the power disc packs.
And it's more convenient, to be honest with you, because it's a big space saver. Those things stack up really nicely, and I can put them away easily. So.
But also, just in reality, Disney have to be careful that if they go too much on the variant side of things, they're going to end up alienating people. And also, they've got enough characters; they don't need to keep doing reposes and variant figures. It's not Skylanders. They've got their characters. They don't need to keep churning things out.
I was gonna say, yeah, the whole variant game I'm not a big fan of. In fact, it kind of has turned me away from Skylanders, to be honest with you. I used to enjoy playing it, but it's just all these variants and all this. It's just making me feel like, you know what, I can't deal with it. I'll just buy the normal figure and play it, and that's it. But
I mean, I like the idea of that they sort of do those variant figures with Skylanders where they change the entire colour to some random sort of solid colour and just sort of seem to pop them into retail and just pop them in the boxes without telling anybody, or
the random ones, yeah,
the random ones that makes sense.
But not the advertised ones.
No,
you know what I mean, come get your legendary one, or come get your nitro one.
I'd much rather see Disney jump into and do 5 obscure characters and maybe make less of them than bothering with those crystal figures, because I'll be honest, I just rarely ever used them. They just don't seem to have been that sort of well thought. I mean, like Sully just doesn't look very good.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I have him in my background. I can see him here. But
yeah.
I was gonna say, if anything, if they do any exclusives too, in my opinion, like let's say if they ever did decide to do like a theme park exclusive,
Yeah.
I would say just do power discs. Just make it easier for everybody. Because the power discs, not everybody are crazy about, and as far as collecting them all, but then some people are, so some people will go for them. But at least the figures make it fair for everybody.
I mean, I kind of do slide in. It's like I think we've talked about it before. If they wanted to make a figure exclusive to the 2 theme parks and Paris, just to pop that one in, just to make it easier for us. I don't have a problem with that, but I do think they got a lot of feedback and a lot of problems with Toys R Us last year, and that's why they dropped it. I can't see. I think they got so much people complaining and about the Toys R Us last year that's why they've dropped it, and they don't want it. Then they've kind of gone in an entirely different direction.
Yeah, that's true. If they want to keep making crystal figures, let's say variants, aside from Mickey, obviously, because everybody knows about him, I don't mind it being like a theme park exclusive, because not everybody will be needing him since they have the original available. But if there's a variant crystal and somebody really wants it and they go to the park, they can get it. It makes it easy. Anyways,
it's that thing. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's like with a crystal figure, it's I'd much rather see a sort of a black suit Spider-Man than just a clear Spider-Man. It just is. But I'm so glad they went with the power disc option. And Marvel, I think, were right. I think because specifically with Marvel characters, they've got that many different outfits.
Yeah, a lot of outfits.
I mean, they can churn out a Spider-Man outfit probably for the next 10 series. The amount of outfits he's had. His iron suit and his unlimited and all the different ones that you can use over the time.
Absolutely. Well, and just to finish this off and to recap on this last thing, to say it quickly. So no new variant figure being released for 2.0. It's just Crystal Mickey.
Yeah.
But there is going to be a new costume for one of the existing figures, and it's not going to be via Power Disc. It's going to be via IGP, which is in-game purchase. So
I'm thinking it's Bimax's grey outfit or white outfit that we've previously found out about, because that conference call was for a lot of media that maybe aren't like us, where we sort of cling to every single word. They might not have heard anything about Infinity since the Marvel launch, kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't even think about it that way. That's true.
Yeah, because that conference call, you could have you might have had some press people on that phone call that maybe haven't actually had anything to do with Infinity since the initial launch, so they are basically being told everything from scratch.
Well, if that's the case, then maybe it could also be Glow Buzz, because
maybe not
he's well, he's exclusive to PC as well, and everybody's been wanting him in these versions. So
yeah, no, I think it's one of those
whatever.
things of the key points to come out of that event really are that there's something special coming for the Vita version, and there is a repainted figure coming, which is going to be Crystal, Mickey, and then we've also got that in-game option. Okay, so I think that rounds up the main thing of there. Because we've got the Disney Infinity Toy Box Starter Pack and all the Disney figures and the Power Discs all coming out this week. It's Tuesday in the US, UK is Friday. I think the Netherlands were already, I know Arjan put that he was able to pick them up last week. They're going to be dropping off in different international countries throughout the week. So that's the big sort of thing for this week, really, is that next week we'll be trying to discuss the new toy box discs and the new figures, because I haven't got them yet because they're not out, and Abe's managed to get a few but still hasn't. We haven't tried out those toy box game discs yet. Abe's got his hand up. He wants to say something. He's back at school.
No, actually, no.
Can I go to the toilet, please, sir?
No, actually, I didn't know if you could see how much you can see behind me, but I was kind of pointing to those originals that I have. So.
Yes, he's got his nice little cabinet up there.
I have them further down. I don't know if you can see them, but whatever. Anyways.
Yes. Now I'm just going to be very, very sneaky, and if I just turn there's my cabinet, but it's actually all full up of Vinylmation, so I'm going to pop that. So we've got our glass cabinets up, but they're right behind us. But there we go. So I'm just popping that one back. Okay, so actually at Walt Disney World this weekend, they released the Disney Infinity side there. I know people have been putting pictures up. So it's pretty much now that I was noticing last night when I was playing Disney Infinity, people's names kept coming up underneath playing Bimax. I've unlocked this figure, and I'm going, oh yeah, it's all starting to click through. I keep seeing Abe's name popping up underneath playing that he's playing Bimax or using a certain power disc.
Oh, on the loading area?
Yeah. I'm going, oh yeah, cheers for that. But nice little kind of subtle way for Disney to keep plugging away at us.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, well, I'll take it.
Yeah. So no, that's good. So that's all out there. So we've been seeing them popping out in different retailers early, but from this week it won't be a problem. All those figures are going to be out, and the power discs. It's just, I do still think that there's just it's too complicated for people with having these two toy box starter packs, and
I continue to see the confusion. Yeah, I agree with you.
People just keep, I see it. I'm getting it on Twitter, getting comments on YouTube, we're getting comments on the Facebook group, and that's not even the official one. If you pop onto the officials forum or Facebook or Twitter, the questions just keep rolling in, because it's confusing. I mean, people think, well, do I have to go buy the two starter packs? Do I have to go buy them all? And the answer is no, you don't. The game disc is identical.
Yeah, honestly, Roger, I think, and it's something that we talked about in the past. I mean, this is definitely going to be a huge learning curve for Disney to see if this is going to work out. But I think, based on what you and I talked about in the past, is that it just would have made sense if they would have put a Disney, a Marvel, and then I don't know, Pixar figure together. But again, maybe the Marvel customer base is a lot different, and maybe they just don't want any Disney. But I understand that. Yeah. I don't know if it was maybe a dealing that they did with Marvel. Maybe Marvel just didn't want any Disney figures marketed with their characters.
Yeah,
who knows?
There's been no crossover with the branding. The Marvel was very separate. There's been no, you don't see any pictures of the Disney and the Marvel side together in the same sort of press image. it's a bit of an odd thing, really, because of what the toy box is. But it's like now, for example, they've put out you've got the Avengers playset or pack out, and you've got 4 out this week. Now, it automatically going, well, actually, if you brought both of them, you might as well just buy the Marvel starter pack, because it probably is just the same price now. They've started doing discounts.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I know both of us have got our toy box starter packs on order because it'll work out cheaper than buying the things individually. It's just unnecessary confusion, and I think it's going to put people off.
Yeah, I think it works out for some people, and it doesn't work out for others, and it confuses many. But it's like we said, it's a learning curve. We'll see what comes from it.
And it's also from the retailer's point. Now you've got the Marvel starter pack, you've got the Disney starter pack, then you're going to have the different console versions of each one of them. So now there's going to be 10 boxes on display just for the different versions. You've then got Stitch, Merida, Thor, and the Avengers starter packs on the shelves. And then when they add in the toy box powered this pack things next year, you're just sort of looking at going, well, there's a lot of choice, and everyone can, pick things up, but it does seem a lot of repetition.
Yeah, that's true. It's just
I go into my local shop, and they've got this much space to put all the figures out. It just seems a bit restrictive.
Pretty soon they're going to do what I remember, at least back in the day when I was a little kid, Toys R Us used to do. They used to have a wall full of pieces of paper, and you would grab the piece of paper that had the title of the video game you wanted.
Yeah.
You went to pay for it, and then you go to a specific window before you leave, and they bring out what you want from the back.
It's going to be literally, do you want to start a pack, Disney or, yeah.
But I don't know, like I already said twice, learning curve. Let's see what happens.
I mean, it's quite.
Let's see it play out.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone into a couple of retailers this week, and they've got this. I mean, like in Tesco, they're this huge, great big, big cardboard box area with all the figures and everything set out. And when you're seeing them all mixed up with the Marvel and the Disney, and then we're gonna, it's like that thing of like Wreck-It Ralph figure, next to Drax. They can keep selling those figures. That's why everything's gone to single packs, because they don't need to. There's no reason to sell them off cheap.
Oh no, yeah, I agree.
These figures, they are going to be around. These figures are going to be on the shelf for a while yet. And I think that's why they've all gone to single figures, and it looks a lot better now. Now you can see it on the shelf of why they don't need to clear out, although those old figures, because they can still pretty much sell them for full retail price,
Yeah, that's true.
But no, I think as well with the Disney side coming out, I think we're going to see a new wave of fans coming into the game. If you haven't already done so, if you check us out on our YouTube channel, me and Abe have been rather busy this week, putting out loads and loads of videos. We've put up a Baymax, a Maleficent, and also I can't even think of the other character yet. Aladdin gameplay video. So, and also we have put up about 20 to 30 Disney Infinity Power Disc videos. So nearly all of the power discs have been shown off. We're still working our way through some of the circular discs because they're not quite as easy to sort of work out because we have to wait for them to charge and etc. But in the next week or two, we'll have all of them up because I'll have some power discs as well this week. But they have been very, very popular videos. We've had a lot of people sort of asking about them, asking what they do. I think the number one question is how have we got them all early? If you watched last week's episode, Abe was at an event, and so that's why he was press, and that's why he got them early. That's if I had £1 for every time I got asked that in the last week, I could go out and buy the starter pack now. It's literally
pixie dust. That's how I got them early.
Pixie dust, yes. But that's the main thing. So we're going to be putting up lots of that in the coming week. We will be having, once I've got the figures, I'll be doing some gameplay. I'll also be doing some gameplay video of those two toy box game discs, and also some unboxing videos once all the figures arrive.
I was gonna say also stay tuned for either later today or tomorrow for a special video that Travis and I did. I will be forwarding to Roger that he's also gonna.
Oh yes, you two guys were having a full-on Disney fest because he got some of the figures as well.
Yeah, it was fun.
So that'll be good. So it'll be it's going to be the thing. I think a lot of people are going to be into Disney Infinity this week with all the Disney characters coming out. 2 brand new toy box game discs that will keep us all entertained, which we're going to talk about in depth in a week or 2.
Oh, and here's a spoiler for everybody who's getting it. For all of you who are like worried about Merida not being awesome or anything because she throws arrows like Hawkeye or anything like that, she's awesome.
Yeah.
She's really cool. Travis was really owning with Merida.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Do you know, because we had this conversation, I think, a while ago about Hawkeye, and I thought he was a bit wimpish. Well, I kind of leveled him up a bit this week, and suddenly those arrows suddenly become a lot more...
It makes a difference, doesn't it?
It's like, at first I thought, it's like, it's like a little kid like shooting you with those little plastic things that stick to your head. Well, it's like, after you've leveled him up, no, he shoots them and they blow up.
No, Hawkeye is awesome. It's just, is he going to be unique from Merida? Absolutely. They're both unique and they're both awesome. But Merida is really cool. You're gonna have fun with her.
Yeah, I like playing around with like Donald and stuff, doing some testing and stuff. He's been so much fun playing with Donald.
Yes, he was. All the things that he throws actually when you level it up become a lot bigger. Yeah,
and his head his head goes red, and he's smashing his hammer as his special move when he runs around with his hammer, just smashing everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not kidding. It took out these huge, great big frost giants. So I was doing a test last night on a toy box I created, and it was like, yeah, he's on level 20. I had him, literally, he was so powerful.
I bet.
Yeah. But I think that's the good thing with the new characters is they're going to be a lot more broader. You've got quite a variety of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be fun. I mean, everybody's going to pick them up, even though, we're not getting play sets, unfortunately. The toy box game discs are a lot of fun.
Yes.
Especially if you play them with other people. They make them even better. And the new Disney figures are ridiculous. They're really fun. And honestly, I also felt a little bit of equalness compared to some of the upgrades that they gave to the 1.0 Disney side.
Yeah.
So the Disney ones are kind of equal, so it's kind of cool.
I think I know sort of JV we had a sort of tweet basically that they are planning on doing a lot more of these toy box game discs in the future. Mm-hmm. Because personally, having played a few of them online in the last couple of weeks, there's a huge area that the playsets don't jump into. They don't do the online play, and also it's going to be cheaper for them to sort of make those toy box game discs. So I think we're going to see a lot more of this in the future. There were again some tests maybe to see how we reacted to them. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the future.
Yeah, I think they were the big hit on this wave. To be honest with you, I enjoy them a lot more, in fact, than the playsets. The playsets are great. Don't get me wrong, but the toy box game discs are phenomenal. I have so much fun with them.
I think they're in sort of a different category, and I think that's an area that we'd like to see sort of improved. But there again, I think also with all the Disney side coming out, it's going to be a lot more fun for sort of the Disney fans who maybe aren't into Marvel. They can finally get into the game. The digital option gives a lot of people a good way in, and the Toy Box Starter Pack seems to be priced. It's that much cheaper than the Avengers version because you don't have the play set and you don't have a third figure.
The extra figure, yeah.
And also, this is just a thing that a few people we've been saying as well. Of if you're in a family and you've got maybe different consoles. The figures all work across each other. So if you've maybe got a PlayStation 4 in the living room, but your kids are on a Wii U, or the kids are going to be on a Vita, or you've got a 360, any combination, the figures will work, and the Toy Box game disc will work on any of them. But it's because the actual disc is the same. If you've got, say, for example, the 360 upstairs with the kids, they can take then the Avengers playset, pop it down, and play it. So there is that sort of cross thing of that. Look at the details on the finance, because it can be cheaper to get the toy box version. I'm actually buying an Xbox One version, even though I don't have an Xbox One, just because it was the cheapest version available. So don't think, well, I'm looking at it going, well, I'm getting 2 figures, the 2 box game discs for cheaper than the 2 figures on their own. It was cheaper for me to do that option, so I just went for the cheapest console version. It doesn't matter to me because it's cheaper. But it's added confusion. But you don't need to worry about the figures not working on any console.
And then also, just to piggyback off of you there, and I got it on the 360, even though my Superheroes was on the PS4, and I got that because I have a 360 set up, and that's where I have my 1.0 on there. And if anybody wanted to play online with me on the 360, I have that option.
Do you think you could go back to the 360 after playing it on the PS4?
Never, but only to play with other people. Absolutely,
maybe.
I mean that's why I have it. The option there.
I think I'd just be sitting there going, no, I don't know if I could do this. This is
well, just again going off on a tangent here, but just to say why I think the PS4 is awesome is because most of the videos we make are directly from the PS4. The PS4 does all the recording, so that's perfect.
Makes our life a lot easier.
A lot easier.
One of the
you
things,
can Twitch from it.
Yeah, I've been doing some bits of twitching and stuff, and just not just twitching, but sort of doing things like that.
Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch. Yeah, we both just got pictures of us now just jumping around. But so also, it's the thing is, there's like twitching. I don't know if it's the same in the US, but twitching is bird watching. I don't know if it's that here in the UK. Twitching is bird watching, so it's like. Yeah, well, you're going twitching this weekend, or you're going to do some Twitch. It's like I just think bird watching. It's just like
Whenever I find my way out the UK, I am so going to say that and see what reaction I get. And then while they're telling me, oh, there's some birds there, I'm gonna like, no, video games.
Yeah. But this is the other thing as well. Do you own a PS Vita?
I do not.
No.
I do not. However, the PS TV is something that I'm looking into.
Because I was looking at this the other day, because I've not really been, when you said to me earlier this week about the Vita version, I was looking at a Vita, not a Vita, and I was looking at the prices of the games, and they all seem to be they're a lot cheaper. They're also like £20-30, or they seem to be a lot cheaper than the sort of the PS4 or the PS3 version. And I was sort of thinking about this sort of something special, thinking, well, if it's priced in the same price line, it might not actually be that much of a problem. But that's just me speculating on what I'm looking at the price-wise.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with it. As the only thing that I know, it's similar to the old PSP, except they don't use cartridges or discs anymore.
No.
I don't know, but as far as why it's cheaper, I just think it's because it's like a portable, kind of like your Game Boy Advance games.
And they always seem
that's old school. The 3DS games are like cheaper.
3D Advance of Game Boy. I had a Game Boy, and I even had before I had the Game Boy. I had the Stop and Watch little things.
Oh, the Game and Watch, yeah.
No, it was like a little like Donkey Kong. Yeah, so that's how my handheld games were, way before the classic Game Boy.
I had one of those too when I was a little kid. It was the Game & Watch where you had he was flipping the food and he had to catch it with the pan.
But I must admit, it's one of those things that when you just sometimes discuss sort of gaming with people and they kind of, you can it does really show up age now when sort of I've got a few people working for me now and they're sort of like 18 and they're telling me that their first console was like a GameCube. And you're like, GameCube? I was at uni when that came out. Just like, okay, yeah, that's it's really sort of it's like sort of people with their cars where what was a classic to some people is like like really.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have actually my girlfriend's little brother will sometimes play. Actually, it was before I got the 360. He would play his 360 and. It's like I felt like I was foreign to it. I couldn't even shoot people or jump as fast as he could, and because we were playing like the Call of Duty games. But it's just everybody has their own idea of what a video game is.
Yeah, it's one of those funny things. It was earlier this week. I was on sort of Twitch playing, and I was getting with people. It's like sort of taking the Mickey out of it because it was not Call of Duty or something like that. And it's like, well, it's not that kind of game. It was just like, this isn't that. Not every single video game in the world is based around, Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty kind of thing.
Exactly, exactly. That's
You know,
why I like when I walk around. I was at a Kamikaze yesterday. When I walk around and people are talking about gaming, I talk about Disney Infinity, and they're like, well, "What's that all about?" And like,
yeah,
all these little figures you buy. Well, these are pretty cool.
yeah. And I must admit, I think I was, like talking about it to my family the other day, and because they obviously see all these boxes arriving, with all these figures in, and it's like, okay. And so when I take out like a Disney Infinity, like Donald, and they're like, okay, that looks cool. And I said, well, when you pop him down on the game, you can. And they were like, oh, well, that's. Suddenly, then it changed it for me. It wasn't me just buying a little figure. It was like, well,
Yeah,
actually,
because it does something.
it does actually do something. And I must, they do offer all of that much more value. And for sort of £12, $15, and I expect there's gonna be a lot of promotions coming up with the holiday season kicking in and Black Friday, and there seems to be quite a lot of offers already. Like I've seen, I think Toys R Us says if you spend $30, you get a free packet of power discs, and some of them are doing Maleficent where you can get a $5 discount card. And
Yeah, I did Walmart, and I still got my free figure because some places were not doing the free figure anymore. But like Amazon doesn't do any promotion
no,
or anything like that.
there hasn't been such a strong push, I don't think, on
No.
the toy box starter pack. I know here in the UK there hasn't been any promotion at all for it. It just seems to be sliding under the radar. It almost feels like a light launch. It doesn't.
It feels like just another wave of figures, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Even though there's a new expansion pack available, but I feel like it's just a new wave of figures. That's what it feels like.
It doesn't have the same sort of blast out like it's a new game for people to get hold of. There doesn't seem to be as much buzz coming off of it. I mean, obviously we're excited about the new figures, but it doesn't feel like it did when the first game came out for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
But no. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly just run through this week's toy boxes. Okay, so okay, so this week's toy boxes, they were all themed around the Haunted Mansion. There was the Lord Notchi, A Halloween Tale. There was the Mystery of the Haunted Mansion, the Haunted Manor, Doom Buggy Dash, Foolish Mortals, and there was another one called Misadventures of Bob. There was also two community team boxes, the Gravity Falls Toy Box Mystery or Midnight Mystery, and another one called Hulk Bowling. So that's all from this week, and also just to remind people that the Hulk challenge is due this week. So if anyone wants them, I've just built one. But so that was the toy boxes from this week. Did you get a chance to play any of those there, Abe?
I went on strike and did not play them. I was upset that your toy box did not get picked for the
Oh
top
yeah,
five, so I chose not to play them at all.
Do you know what I think it was the Mystery of the Haunted Mansion toy box, and it was fantastic. It was like a place that you had to go through, find the Haunted Mansion. You had to go into different rooms, unlock sort of orbs. You then had to defeat, and you could only after you got like 2 orbs, one door opened. When you had 9 doors, another door opened. When 10, had a big finish. It was like a playset. It was so. I was playing it for about 40 minutes for a single toy box.
Was it made by a known
yes,
toy
it
box
was.
artist?
Yes, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. There was another one called Lord Notchi, A Halloween Tale, which was very spooky, but for some reason when I played it, the door to the next area didn't open up. So that was one of those glitches that I'm hoping will be fixed in the next couple of weeks, because things like that, I'm running around trying to go, well, there's no ending. So I end up coming out the toy box. It wasn't until I saw somebody else playing it and realised there was 2/3 of the game didn't actually load for me.
Yeah, that's something that's been kind of weird.
Yeah,
Things get buggy.
The Misadventures of Bob was a really odd toy box. I don't know. It was so random. It was
Probably why it's called Misadventures.
Yeah, it was really fun. But the Gravity Falls Midnight Mystery toy box created by the Disney team, fantastic. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It was all themed around Gravity Falls, but there was a point to it. You ran through it. You had to complete certain objects. You had to get a key. You had to open a door, go through, beat a boss. So that was good. Hulk Bowling, I couldn't get the grips with. That was one I was struggling with. That one. The other few toy boxes didn't quite have a chance to play through them. I think that's the thing. It's like sometimes I'll give myself an hour or two to play some toy boxes, but now some of them are sort of going up in length. It's taking me longer to get through them. Not
well, that's a good sign though.
Yeah, there's that thing of but yeah. So it's those toy boxes are really sort of adding a lot of sort of content to it, and it just in general, I think it's really adds to those weekly toy box things, and it's. We got these different challenges coming up. The Hulk Smash one is the last of the announcements. We don't know what's coming up after that. So I expect any day we'll get the November challenges. So it's worth taking part in that. It is good in the fact now that we can sort of submit our toy boxes to Disney and people can play them. I'm still quite surprised, that some of my toy boxes have been played by a few hundred people. And,
I was one of them.
Yeah, it's one of those things of suddenly, at least now, like if you're creating a toy box and it doesn't get picked, at least people can play it. At least people can go in and find it and download it. Whereas
kind of motivates you to keep building more. Gonna feel like a little gratification from that.
Yeah, it's like because I've just it feels like you're getting somewhere with it. Whereas I think before, if you made your toy box and only 5 ever got uploaded, it was lost in the sea of time. You could upload them again now if you wanted to, but
no, that's true.
That's always a good sign. But I think that's pretty much going to round up this week. We're going to once again we ran out of time for the Guardians playset, so I think we're going to push that to the end of November. Now we're going to throw that way off because we're going to be very caught up with the Disney side for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to be going through just in general our thoughts on all the Disney side and just sharing our thoughts on that. Yeah. And as per usual, if you have got a comment or something you want to share, you can comment below. And also remember to subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube. If you're listening to the audio version on through like iTunes, I think you're also on Stitcher, we're also on Windows Phone. I've been adding them to different things. Thank you for listening and be sure to subscribe. I've been really surprised with the amount of people listening on iTunes. Already we're up to like 300-400 downloads a week just on iTunes alone. So that's been really interesting, and we are going to continue to upload the webcasts on as an audio format as well.
Yeah, thank you to all you podcast listeners. We appreciate that.
Yes, that was a side sort of project I started just to see if there was demand, and there obviously is. So we are going to, so we're really into making sure everyone's got access to it as much as possible. And also just, more importantly, check us out at VinymationKingdom.com. All the new Disney Infinity information is going up there. We've got a special section there with loads of information. I've been trying to add sort of the links to all the toy box, the Power Disc profiles, videos that we've been putting up. And also remember to check us out on our Infinity and Beyond Facebook group, where everyone's discussing Infinity, trading, selling, etc. Ask if you're stuck or anything like that. Remember to check us out there. So, Abe, anything you want to add before we sign off for the day?
No, I'm actually excited. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening, and just have fun once the Disney originals come out. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yep. Okay. So again, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.